بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. In the previous lesson we began reading through الدرس الرابع, the fourth lesson. We covered the passage and explained the main concept that the author wants to introduce in this passage, and that is the conjugation of the fi'l madi, so that we can reference it to the various pronouns. He doesn't mention all of the dhama'ir in this lesson. He's going to introduce them slowly. But we are trying to memorize the tasrif table, the conjugation table, so that we are one step ahead. If we have that conjugation table for the fi'l madi memorized, it's going to help us greatly, inshallah. So now all that's left is to go over the homework, the tamareen, the exercises. So we're going to set this as homework, explain what needs to be done, and then the remaining time we're going to revise some important topics. So tamareen, exercises. The first exercise, أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية. Answer the following questions. And these questions are related to the passage. The second exercise, ضع هذه العلامة. Place this symbol, the tick, أمام الجمل الصحيحة, in front of the correct sentences. وهذه العلامة, and this symbol, the X, أمام الجمل غير الصحيحة, in front of the sentences which are incorrect. This is the second exercise, and this is also taken from the passage. So whatever is right, you need to place a tick. Whatever is wrong, you place an X. The third exercise, ضع في الأماكن الخالية فيما يلي الفعل ذهب وأسنده إلى الضمير المناسب. We need to place in the empty spaces فيما يلي, in that which follows, الفعل ذهب, the فعل ذهب, the past tense verb ذهب, وأسنده إلى الضمير المناسب, and we need to reference it and ascribe it to the appropriate ضمير, the appropriate pronoun. So we're going to be using ذهب, but we need to do the conjugation and choose the right ضمير to attach onto it so that the sentence makes sense. This is exercise number 3. Exercise number 4, صحح الجمل الآتية. Correct the following sentences. So they've given you sentences, there's some mistakes in there, you need to be able to recognize the mistake and then correct it. Number 5, أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية بالنفي مستعملا ما. You need to answer the following questions with a negation using ma. So they've asked you questions, and these questions are all positive questions. They are positive questions, there's no negations. So because you're negating, the first thing that you have to do is answer by saying la, because they're asking you with hamza, right? So you need to say la and then use ma in your answer. So that's exercise number 5. Exercise number 6, تأمل ما يلي. Reflect over the following. So you need to look at this and reflect over it, and then they've given you examples to reflect over that. We'll explain this inshallah next lesson. Number 7, and this is the final exercise, اقرأ المثال. Read the example. ثم أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية بنعم أو بلى. Then answer the following questions with either نعم or بلى. So this is to practice the two different types of questions, the negative question and the positive question. So the negative question, the السؤال المنفي, is the one that contains some sort of negation, and the سؤال المثبت is the one that does not contain any negation, the positive question. So here we have أذهبت إلى المدرسة أمس. Did you go to school yesterday? There is no negation in this, so this is positive. أما ذهبت إلى المدرسة أمس. Didn't you go to school yesterday? So here we have ma, which is nafi, so this is a negative question. How do we answer both? This is what we're learning here. So if it's positive to affirm, we use na'am. If it's negative to affirm, we use bala. So na'am and bala give you the same answer, but obviously this one is for the positive question and bala is used for the negative question. If you use the na'am here, then it will mean la. It would mean la, as we've explained. So bala is used for the same meaning as na'am, but it's used in response to a negative question, a question that contains some sort of negation. So did you go to the school yesterday? Na'am dhahabtu. Yes, I did. Didn't you go? Of course I went. طيب, so this is the final exercise and this is the homework. طيب, we're going to cover the homework next lesson and begin ad-dars al-khamis, the 5th lesson. But for the remaining time in this lesson, we're going to revise. We're going to revise some important topics. Firstly, al-dama'ir. Al-dama'ir, plural of damir. Damir, pronoun, dama'ir, pronouns. Al-munfasila. We already know that the pronouns are two types. We have muttasil, which is attached. They attach onto something. And munfasila, they are detached. They do not attach. They stand alone. The munfasila, dama'ir, we have them here. And we need to memorize them. Inshallah, I'm going to take a picture of this and add it onto the comment section. Leave a link, inshallah, for people to memorize this. So we have the dama'ir al-munfasila here. We have separated it into 3 categories. The 3 categories are third person pronouns, second person pronouns, and first person pronouns. So going downwards, they're split into 3 categories. And going sideways, they are also split into 3 categories. So we have singular, mufrad, we have ju, 2, jam', plural. So more than 2, we use these ones. And then each category is subdivided. So we have male, female, mudhakkar, mu'annath, mudhakkar, mu'annath. And then the final one is 1 because the same damirs are used for both mudhakkar and mu'annath. طيب. So if we're referring to a third person singular, male, we say huwa, huwa, he. 2, huma, the 2 of them. More than 2, hum, they. If it's 1 female we're talking about, singular, hiya, she. 2, huma, notice they're the same, exact same. If it's more than 2, hunna, they, a group of women we're talking about. Hunna, they, hunna muslimatun, they are Muslims. Hunna dhahabna al-masjid, they went to the masjid. We're speaking about them. We need to memorize these dama'ir. That's the third person. Now we move on to the second person pronouns. Singular, you're speaking to them, anta. You're speaking to a man, you say anta, you. You're speaking to 2 males, you say antuma, 2 of you. You're speaking to more than 2, you say antum, antum, you guys. You're speaking to 1 female, you address her with this damir, anti, you. 2, antuma, and they are the same. If it's more than 2 women you're addressing, you say antunna, you guys. Antunna dhahabtunna ila al-masjid. Antunna muslimatun, you are all Muslims. And then finally, the first person pronouns, ana, means I. I'm speaking about myself, singular. Whether male or female, you use the same damir, ana. Ana muslimun, I am a Muslim. A female would say, ana muslimatun, I am a Muslim. More than 2, we have nahnu, 2 or more, is the same damir. Nahnu means we. 2 males, 2 females would use nahnu. Group of them, they would say nahnu. So these are the dama'irs that we have to memorize. We have to memorize these dama'ir. So just like the tasrif table for the fi'l al-madi, we need to memorize the tasrif of these dama'ir al-munfasila. So huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu, nahnu. We need to memorize that. Repeat it over and over again. And when you're memorizing and when you're saying these, you need to have the meaning in your mind. So you shouldn't just be repeating the dama'ir without understanding who you're referring to. You need to be able to understand who you're referring to, and you need to be able to recognize which part of the table you are. So when you say huma, you're here on this section. So try and take a visual picture of this table and keep it in your mind, and when you're going through the tasrif, you have the visual, it's in your mind, where you know who you're referring to. So this is the first thing that we wanted to revise. The second thing that we wanted to revise now is the dama'ir al-muttasila. Muttasila, the attached pronouns. Al-dama'ir al-muttasila, the attached pronouns, I have divided them into 2. The first is dama'ir al-jarri wal-nasbi. Dama'ir al-jarri wal-nasbi, the pronouns which stand in the place of something which is majroor and something which is mansub. And they are going to be the same. They are going to be the same dama'ir, as we're going to find out. So this is the first type of attached pronouns, the ones that stand in the place of something which is majroor or something which is mansub. And this is how they look like. So we start with jar. Jar. ضمائر الجر are the ones that come to stand in the place of something which is majrur. So here we have lam. This lam is harf jar. We've taken this. Al-bayt li Muhammad. If we want to say it belongs to him, we say lahu. Lahu, it belongs to him. So the damir, whenever we have a damir attached to a harf jar, it gives us jarun wa majrur. So this is actually a ism majrur. Ism majrur. Li Muhammadin, rather than say Muhammad, we can use a damir in its place and attach a damir muttasil. And this damir muttasil that we're attaching has to be damir jar. So all of these damirs that we have here, they are damir jar. Damair muttasila, but they are standing in the place of something which is majroor. So here we have lahu. Lahu. So who? This is the damir. Who? Lahu. Lahuma. Lahum. So lahu means it belongs to him. Lahuma belongs to two of them. Lahum belongs to them, group of them. Laha, it belongs to her. Lahuma, two of them. Lahunna, more than two, it belongs to them. So these are the third person pronouns. The second person pronouns, laka, if you're talking to him, it belongs to you. Laka. Lakuma. Lakum, more than two. Laki belongs to you. You're talking to a female. Lakuma, it belongs to two of you. Lakunna, more than two, it belongs to all of you. Belongs to me, li. Belongs to us, lana. Lana, two or more. And it's the same damirs for both males and females. طيب. So we need to memorize these damirs because these are damirs which attach onto huruf al-jar. And they are the same damirs which attach onto nouns. So you say baytuhu. Why is it the ones that attach onto nouns? Because any damir which attaches to a noun gives you mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. So this is standing in the place of mudaf ilayhi. And mudaf ilayhi is always majroor. And these are dama'ir jar. So they come in two places. Dama'ir jar come in two places. They come when they attach to harf jar. And they come when they attach to nouns. You use these ones to attach onto harf jar, huruful jar. And you use these ones to attach onto nouns. So baytuhu, baytuhuma, baytuhum, baytuha, baytuhuma, baytuhunna, baytuka, your house. Baytukuma, baytukum, baytuki, baytukuma, baytukunna, bayti, baytuna, baytuna. And the same with if it was any other harf jar. But we have to remember that the ones that have a dhamma, the has that have a dhamma, they take a kasra. The ha can take a kasra if it's preceded by a kasra or ya sukun. If there's a ya sukun or kasra, the ha, for pronunciation's sake, to make it easy, we change the dhamma into a kasra. So if it was ba is a harf jar, right? Bil jami'ati. Ba is a harf jar. If we used ba instead of lam, it would be bihi. We don't say bihu, because the transition from kasra to dhamma is difficult. So to make it easy, we give a kasra to the dhamma. So the has, the ones that have dhammas, they change into kasras to make it easy to pronounce. So we say bihi, bihima. It's the same dhamir, it's just the dhamma has changed into a kasra to make it easy to pronounce. It's not a different dhamir. So this dhamma changes into a kasra. So bihi, bihima, bihim. Biha remains because we only said the ones that have dhamma are the ones that change. Biha, there's no difficulty there. You can pronounce it easily. Bihima, bihinna. The kafs remain the same. Bika, bikuma, bikum, biki, bikuma, bikunna, bi, bina, bina. And likewise, if it's preceded by a ya sakina, the ya has a sukun like fi, we'd say fihi. The ha, the dhamma on the ha changes to a kasra likewise. If it's preceded by a kasra, a letter with a kasra or ya sukun. So fihi, fihima, fihim, fiha, fihima, fihinna. And then the rest remains the same. Fika, fikuma. And likewise, alay, we don't say alayhu, we say alayhi, alayhima, alayhim, alayha, alayhima, alayhinna. So the dama'ir jar, the ones that we've covered here, they come in two places. They come attached to a harf jar, and they come attached to nouns. So if we had ibn, I'm going to say his son, ibnuhu, ibnuhuma. Anytime you have a harf jar and a damir, it gives you jar wa majur. Anytime you have the ism with a damir, it gives you mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. And in both cases, the damir that's attached is majrur. It's coming to represent something which is majrur. طيب. So we've done ضمائر al-jar. These are ضمائر al-jar. And these ضمائر al-jar, the same ضمائر al-jar, also come for nasb. They come for nasb. What's nasb? Nasb is to replace something which is mansub. So that's why we found them attached to inna. Inna and its sisters. Innaka, innakuma to the end. So here we have innahu. Who here is ismu inna, and this is here, in this case, it's not damir jar. It's damir nasb. It's coming to replace something which is mansub. So for example, inna Muhammadan muslimun. Muhammad is a Muslim. So instead of saying Muhammad, I want to replace him with a suitable damir, I would say inna hu muslimun. He is a Muslim. So the same damirs that we mentioned here that come for jar are the same damirs that come for nasb. But here we don't say it's jar, we say it's nasb, and the indicator is inna. It's attached to inna. Inna makes it mansub, it doesn't make it majur. So this is damir nasb, the same damirs. Innahu, innahuma. Whenever we find these damirs attached to inna or any of its sisters, this is going to be the ismu inna. Ismu inna, ismu inna. The damir that's attached here is ismu inna. Likewise, we could say la'allahu, la'allahuma, la'allahum, la'allaha, la'allahuma, la'allahunna, la'allaka. And likewise, ka'annahu, ka'annahuma, ka'annahum, ka'annaha, ka'annahuma, ka'annahunna to the end. And also, from the things that we took was lakinnahu, lakinnahuma, lakinnahum, lakinnaha, lakinnahuma, lakinnahunna. So the damirs that's attached here is coming to replace something which is mansub. So these are dama'ir al-nasb. These are dama'ir al-nasb. So what's the point here? The point here is we've taken muttasil damirs. But these muttasil damirs here, the attached damirs here, are either jar or nasb. They are the same damirs in both cases, but to differentiate if it's jar or nasb, we look at what it's attaching to. If it's attaching to a harf jar or a ism, then it's jar. If it's attaching to other than that, then it's going to come as nasb. That's the easiest way. So now we're left with the other type of damir muttasil. So we've done jar, we've done nasb, we're left with raf'. There's a muttasil damir which attaches, but it doesn't come for jar or nasb. It comes for raf'. Raf', to replace something which is marfu', and they look completely different to these. And they are what we're going to cover now. These ones, which we spoke about last time. That's why we wrote dama'ir raf'. Dama'ir raf', they are damirs which come to stand in the place of something which is marfu'. So what do they stand in the place of? They stand in the place of fa'il, the doer. The doer, the hukum of the doer, grammatically in nahu, is that it is always marfu'. The fa'il is always marfu'. So we say dhahaba Muhammadun. Muhammad is the doer. It has to be marfu' end with the dhamma or dhammatain. If it was Amina, say dhahabat Aminatu. Al-Muslimuna, dhahaba al-Muslimuna is marfu' in its own way. The sign varies, but what we need to know is that it's always going to be marfu'. The fa'il is always marfu'. طيب, that's in normal nouns. What if we want to replace it with a damir? If you want to replace with damir, we have to use attached to damir. Which type are we going to use? Damir jar or nasb or damir raf'? We use damir raf' because we're replacing something which is marfu', so we need to use a marfu', it's a marfu' equivalent, which are these ones. So in total, if we're to count, we have alif, waw, noon, because here there's no damir that's attached, it's hidden. Here there's no damir that's attached, it's hidden. In both of these cases we have alif. So we have alif, al-ithnain, this is a damir. We have noon, al-inath, this is the damir. The waw here, waw al-jama'ah, is a damir. And then we have the tas here. The ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tu. And then we have na for a group of doers, first person. These are the things that we need to memorize. So all of the letters that are written in red, they are damirs. They are the damirs. They are the dama'ir raf'. طيب. So we gave homework last lesson, which was to conjugate dhahaba, to do the tasrif of dhahaba. Let's do the tasrif of dhahaba. Have you written it down? You should have written it down in your books. So here we would say dhahaba, dhahaba, dhahabu, dhahabat, dhahabata, dhahabna, dhahabta, dhahabtuma, dhahabtum, dhahabti, dhahabtuma, dhahabtunna, dhahabtu, dhahabna, dhahabna. And we need to make sure we understand what we're referring to, who we're referring to. So if someone said to you, dhahabna, what is that referring to? Dhahabna. Dhahabna is, we're talking about a group of women. They went. طيب. Okay. What if I said to you, dhahabti? Dhahabti. Who are you referring to? You're talking to one woman. You're saying you went. Dhahabti. طيب. What if I said, dhahabat? Dhahabat. Who am I referring to? Dhahabat. Dhahabat. She went. You're speaking about a woman. She went. طيب. ذهبتا. 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 You're speaking about two women. They went. Two of them went. طيب. ذهبنا. ذهبنا. It could either mean we went, two of us, or more than two, we went. So this is how it needs to be memorized. You memorize it in the order, and you should also memorize its meanings. طيب. One more thing that I wanted to clarify now here. So we have these type of damirs. These type of damirs attached to the fi'l. If these types of damirs attached to the fi'l, they come as fa'il. If these types of damirs come, they come as fa'il. Okay. What if we had, for example, fataha, fataha. This is fataha, means to open. To open. If I place tu here, fatahtu, that's this dhamir here. This is fa'il. Fataha, tu. I wouldn't say fataha in that case. I would have to say fatahtu. When this type of damirs from here onwards, remember from here onwards, it has to take a sukun. So I have to say fatahtu. Okay, fatahtu means I opened. So this is the fi'il, this is the fa'il. That's done. Okay, what if I added another dhamir? I added these ones. Fatahtuhu. I said fatahtuhu. This is the dhamir. Remember, this is dhamir that we took here. We mentioned that it's jar in two cases. This comes for jar in two cases. If it's attached to a harf jar or ism. If it's not attached to a harf jar or ism, then it's going to be nasb. So let's go back and apply that rule. Is this a harf jar? It's not a harf jar. Is this a ism? It's not a ism. So this can't be jar. This is not coming to replace a jar. So what's the other option? It's nasb. This is coming to replace nasb. And we find that it is replacing something which is mansub. And that is the maf'ulun bihi. The maf'ulun bihi, the object, is always mansub. To replace it, we use the dhamir nasb to replace them. We don't use these ones. These ones come for fa'il, to replace something which is marfu'. That's why we have the two there. If we have this one, or the other ones that we mentioned, the dhamir nasb, they come to replace maf'ulun bihi. If ever you have a dhamir nasb attached to a fi'l, these types of dhamirs that we covered previously, they are going to come as maf'ulun bihi. Always. Always. And whenever we have these ones that I mentioned here, it's going to come as fa'il. So we have fi'l, fa'il, the doer, maf'ulun bihi, the object. So if I was to open up this sentence, take it back to its origin, I would say fataha. Okay, fataha. That's the fi'l. Let's choose Muhammad as our fa'il. Muhammadun. Muhammadun opened. He has to open something. What has he opened? I would say fataha al-bab. So this is my maf'ulun bihi, the object. My opening occurred on this thing. Maf'ulun bihi, the object. In Arabic, the object has a hukum, and its hukum is that it's mansub, ends with fatha or fathatain, just like the fa'il ends with dhamma or dhammatain. So fataha Muhammadun al-baba, fi'l, fa'il, maf'ulun bihi. This is represented in this word. Fataha is there. The ta is representing Muhammad. Fatahtu, if I was speaking about myself, if I was Muhammad. Al-baba is the door. Fatahtuhu, I opened it. طيب. So this is what we need to be at this stage, because the fifth lesson we're gonna have something resembling this. So knowing the different ضمائر متصلة and what they've come to replace, what they're standing in the place of, this is important. So we've taken ضمائر منفصلة, we should have already memorized that. من هو هما هم, we should have memorized that. Then the ضمائر متصلة, there are two types, jar or nasb. Jar or nasb, which is this side, and they look exactly the same. If they're not jar or nasb, then we have the other option, which is raf'. I'm going to take pictures of all of these and place it in the comment section, inshallah, so it's easier for people to memorize. Barakallah fikum. We stop here. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.